Welcome to Deadly Dames, and this is this week's pickup video. So there is a little bit in this week's pickup video, but going forward I'm going to try and do maybe the pickup videos not every week, or if I do it'll be a lot less titles because my to-be watch pile has got a little bit out of hand. It's 3 rows back and I need to start making my way through that. And I know I say it every week, but I really need to because it's going to cause a divorce if I don't start watching some of these movies and either keeping them or getting rid of them or passing them on to somebody else to watch. But I'll show you what I've picked up this week anyway. We do, before I do that, we are thinking of doing some other segments for the channel, so we've sort of put up a slasher review. Trying to think of a title for that one, so if anybody has any good titles, just let us know. We've got quite a lot of slashers in the to-be watch pile, so that's the reason why we're going to do that. We're also thinking about doing like a don't review and reviewing loads of movies with the word don't in the title. And we were going to do a review, but whilst we're doing Rob Zombie, but we're thinking about doing a couple of other directors as well. So if there's any directors out there where you would like us to review the titles, that like the movies that we have from them, just let us know and we'll try and make our way through them too. But yeah, this week's pickup. So I'll show you the Blu-rays first. In fact, I'll show you the DVDs first and then I'll move on to the Blu-rays. So a couple of these DVDs were just really cheap pickups of films that I like but didn't seem to own for some reason. So the first one isn't horror. It's actually a kind of, I don't know if you'd class it as a comedy or a rom-com, but I really like Empire Records. I think the soundtrack has a big part in why I like it. It's a cheesy soundtrack, cheesy fun film. I don't know why I didn't own it, but I didn't, so now I do. So just set that there. I also picked up for Claire, mainly because she has every single Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, but she didn't have this one, and I know it's crap, but I couldn't help it when I've seen it for like 50p, so I'm going to force her to watch it, see if she still loves Arnie after it. And that is Hercules in New York. So I've only ever seen this in like a 2-disc edition, or like a 4-pack one, which is a really cheap edition, and this is the first time I've seen it like on a disc by itself. I just had to do it, and I'm going to force Claire to watch it and ask her if she still loves Arnie. I haven't got all the stickers off this one yet, but to be fair, the guy on the cover creeped the life out of me, and that's the reason why I picked it up. We were thinking about doing a segment called Cheap and Nasty, and it's basically where we've bought a really cheap movie and we'll review it and see if it's worth, like, is it right to have made this movie that cheap because it's a good film, or it was that nasty that yes, it should have been that cheap. And we're thinking about starting with this one because I paid 50p for The Fear, and maybe review it and see if it's a bit on call for it to be only 50p, but the guy in the front cover creeped me out, so I also picked this one. This is actually a relatively new one. The cover's in a little bit of a state, but for £1 I thought I'll give it a go. Plus I really like Lance Hendrickson, so I'm sure it's the Inanimate, can't speak. There we are. So it sounded interesting, like Starship Troopers, like Alien v Predator, so why not? And as I said, it was just £1, so can't really go wrong with £1. And then I ordered this one online, and mainly because there's a couple of movies in this pack that are actually quite hard to find by themselves, and that was what made me do it. Excuse me. So this is a 10 movie pack, Gore and More. I love these wee packs, but the movies that I was after was now I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong, but is it the Fikes or the Finks? It's a Karen Black movie that I've always wanted to see, but yeah, it's got Bad Taste. Don't know why the focus isn't focusing. Bad Taste, The Bloody Brood, Drive-In Massacre, Don't Look in the Basements, we can add that to our don't section, Driller Killer, Werewolf vs Vampire Women, Werewolf in a Girl's Dormitory, Scream, Bloody Murder, The Finks, and Night Train to Terror. I nearly said Night Train Murders. Yeah, so really cheap, and I love these little movie packs. You always find that there's one in that mix that you go, why is this in this cheap movie pack? It should have a decent release by itself. And then I got this for Claire. Claire's Claire's an old school comedy fan. She doesn't tend to like a lot of modern comedies, and it's totally understandable because they're all the same. They all use drugs, dick and fart jokes. They don't really use their imagination. And it's funny because Arrow Video recently announced A Fish Called Wanda, and everybody was kicking off because they always do like a little sneak peek picture that they put on Facebook or Twitter or whatever to try and hint what their next movie's going, like next release titles are going to be. And this one was a picture of Jamie Lee Curtis, so of course people started getting overexcited thinking it was going to be Prom Night or Road Games or one of her slasher movies that she did. And then they announced Fish Called Wanda, and obviously they were a bit upset. But I love A Fish Called Wanda, so I was totally happy that they released it, because to me that's the classic comedy. That is comedy to me. But anyway, I'm off on a tangent. So yeah, this is one of these box sets that we always see. It's never too expensive, but always just a little bit out of price range for willing to give it a rewatch, because as you know, a lot of movies we've been rewatching, we've been like, that's not as funny as I remember. But I found this in a charity shop for a really good deal, and we've watched two of them so far. The first one was a little bit all over the place. It was a good storyline, just a bit patchy, and the second one was actually really funny, and that is the Pink Panther film collection. I just like him. He's stupid, he's clumsy and daft, and they're just a fun watch, easy watch. And then I finally went back to FOP and picked up my second sight one that I'd missed, and that is the Warlock DVD. It's a shame there wasn't a Blu-ray, but I'm just happy to have it in any sort of digital format. I know that Ventron's released the Warlock collection in America, and I've heard rumours that Ventron are going to start to release in the UK. Now I have actually sent them an email to ask, and no one's replied, so we can only assume that the things that we can see, because on Amazon if you type in Ventron and you type in some of their titles, it is coming up saying that it's going to be a release this year, but there's no pictures, so it's hard to know whether that's real or not. But it would be nice to see this get a good release over here in the UK, but for now I'm quite happy to have this one. And then the last for the DVDs, I wasn't going to pick this up because I pretty much know it's probably going to be crap, but I'm such a fan of the original one, which is a movie which I've banged on and on and on about for years, and I've just been asked to do, a video by someone else about titles that I'd love to see Arrow Video release, and the original one of this is like 100% a movie I'd love to see Arrow Video release, and it is Death Race 2000, but I picked up Death Race 2050. The only reason I picked up is because it's Roger Corman, and I really loved the cover art. It's just proper cheese, right old throwback cover art there. It's probably going to be crap, but it wasn't expensive. I picked it up from Asda, and I thought I'm going to give this one a go. So that's all the DVDs. Now onto the Blu-rays. So I went back into FOP because I didn't realise that this was actually released on Blu-ray. I've got it on the DVD, I've got it on DVD, but I didn't actually know that Arrow had released it on Blu-ray as well. So that's The Exterminator. I love the artwork for that as well by Dude Designs. So yeah, I had to go back in. I picked up before the sale finished, and that was the main reason. Also from Arrow Video, I picked up Madhouse. This one just looks really interesting. Never seen it before, so I'm looking forward to giving it a go. I had like a voucher to use in HMV, so I used it to get money off this. And then from 101 Films, now I know this movie, well, not the movie, the actual release got a bit of hate, but I'm quite happy just to pick this up. It's been years since I've seen them, so I wasn't really willing to spend too much money on a movie that might not be as good as I remembered, so I was quite happy that they'd done this FX Complete Collection from 101. So I'm looking forward to rewatch them, and hopefully they're as good as I remember. And then from 88 Films, I got the other Vault Collection, which is Creepazoids. Haven't even opened it, just came through yesterday. I've got this on their Grindhouse releasing DVD one, but it's a cheesy, fun film. I like what they've announced so far with the Vault Collection. I think it is a wee bit of a rip-off to re-release a movie you've already done, which is part of another collection, to this one. But I used my what they called skill points. I cannot speak this morning. I've actually not long got up. I'm a lazy bugger. But come on, it's my only day off. So yeah, I used my points to get this, so I didn't actually pay for it, so I'm quite happy with that. And then into the pound shop I went, just to see if they had anything else. And this is a movie which has always been interesting, always sounded interesting to me. But I don't know why, I've just never picked it up, and I couldn't really resist it for £1, and that is Buried. Seems like an interesting concept that it's done, the whole thing shot inside a coffin, so I figured I can do that for £1. And then one steelbook, which I haven't opened yet, and the main reason I picked it up is because I am such a massive fan of the movie Snowpiercer, which if you haven't seen and you're a fan of sci-fi and sort of post-apocalypse movies, I would like 100,000,000% recommend Snowpiercer. It was just really good. And this is the same director that did this one. And it's funny because I did actually own this years ago, and then when I moved house, that's how long ago I owned it, I kind of did a huge clear out and I got rid of a pile of to be watched because I figured if I haven't watched them by now, I'm probably never going to watch them. Which is one of the reasons why I want to get through my to be watched pile just now before I have a crazy moment and do that again. But yeah, the reason why I picked this up is because it's by the same director of Snowpiercer, which I love. And it's a creature feature, you've got to enjoy that. And it is the whole steelbook I've picked up from Zavvi. So yeah, that's everything that I picked up this week. Any questions, obviously just ask away. You know I like to talk about horror films. And as always, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and take care.